This is the episode. They're gonna get back together. There you go, it's Courtney. That's weird. Oh, wait a second. The episode's not even over. I have more notes. Here's the sitch. Hey guys, thank you for joining me for this week's Get Ready With Me and TV. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I upload every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Saturday is my Fab in 5 series where I do videos 5 minutes or less. And now I've started a new series, which at this time currently takes place every Monday. And basically the series is, every season of my series, we will call it, will be based on a different season of a show that's on TV at the time. So for example, this very first season of my series, Get Ready With Me and TV, is based off of the final season of Keeping Up With the Kardashians. What we do is every Monday we come here, I get ready, chat about the episode, I talk about what made me laugh, I talk about the drama, what is my opinion, my predictions on what's to come. I also use something within the episode to inspire my look, and it is your job to guess what that is. You also list the products in the corner right here, so if you want to just follow along on the look, then you can kind of just ignore my talking. Put it on mute if you really don't want to listen to me, and you can follow along the look as well. But if you do want to hear about this third episode of Keeping Up With the Kardashians' final season, my predictions, my opinions, and let's just kind of laugh about it, then keep on watching. If you did watch last week's Get Ready With Me and TV, then you will have seen my cheetah print eyeshadow look. It was based off of Kylie's cheetah print dress at the very beginning of the episode. Not really a dress, but her outfit. So they're all at the Malibu house. So it kind of starts off the conversation of this obstacle course that we saw in the preview. So basically what happens is, I think Kendall says that she could beat Chloe in an arm wrestle. But I definitely feel like Chloe is like more of, I don't know, she just looks very strong. Like she works out all the time. So I was surprised when Kendall won. That's insane. Kim goes and arm wrestles her, and Kim wins. So she was not going to be the one that I thought was going to be, I guess, technically the strongest. So that was kind of funny. So it does kind of start the conversation of the obstacle course. So that's kind of where this all comes into play. Courtney's working at the Malibu house alone. At night, she decides to go to the Malibu house to work on her stuff. So then she's, working on her stuff, and Scott shows up. So she hears somebody in the kitchen and she goes, and it's Scott. They end up watching a movie together. Scott makes the point that he hasn't spent like alone time with Courtney in like forever without the kids. And I'm like, here we go. This is it. This is the episode. They're gonna get back together. And then Scott makes the comment, it's like the world is bringing us together. Yeah, exactly. So just like get back together. They're in like an interview, and they're like talking about how, like, Courtney says it's nice to have a conversation alone without the kids, that they're just friends, and Scott goes, yeah, it's just purely platonic, but he like looks super not convinced and not happy about it, so I thought that was kind of funny. Goes back to Courtney, because she's working on Poosh, which if you haven't watched the Kardashians, Poosh is like her website and her blog, and she's very much about like, wellness and like very natural remedies and all that. So anyways, she's working on an article about celibacy. She's talking about it to Chris and Corey about how she's doing a article on celibacy and how like it can help you actually become closer to your partner, and you actually have more energy. Because you put a lot of energy, into sex, and so it gives you the time to put your energy into other stuff, I guess. So anyways, Corey and Chris, they always on the show make them seem like they're like horn dogs. They almost seem like little teenagers. Courtney encourages them to help her out and do like a test of the celibacy thing, and just to see, does it bring them closer together, just to see if they can kind of do it. So they do agree, like, not extremely willingly, but they do agree. So then she goes to talking about, because Courtney says that she's celibate, and then she talks about how she thinks her husband is in Switzerland. I don't know how it comes up, but she says that. So because she loves Switzerland so much, she thinks she's gonna move to Switzerland one day, and then she's gonna just, she just has a feeling, she says, that he is there. And I kind of thought that was a little bit funny. I look insane right now because I don't have eyebrows. Like sometimes the stuff that Courtney says, I'm like, what? She's definitely a different one. Like, I do think she has interesting theories about life. I'll just word it like that. I didn't like her for a while because of like, and I think a lot of people commented on the way she was acting. Just because she was kind of acting very, I think honestly, looking at it now that it's, you know, the show's coming to an end, she seems like she's in a much better place in her life after she's also taken a step back. I think she definitely goes on the show when she wants to and not like she feels like she has to, which is good, of course. But I definitely think that that helped her be, you know, better on the show, not so like miserable. And like, I feel like she made everybody else miserable around her as well. But I also noticed, especially in this episode, but really all of the episodes this season, that her relationship with Chloe and Kim seemed to be much better this season than last season. Because last season, well, I guess it wasn't last season, but it was the season before. Basically, I think she wanted to quit the show. But I think what I didn't understand about that situation is, okay, so if she wants to quit the show, then quit the show, you know what I mean? But I think like she just felt pressured. And at the time, it seemed really, really, really annoying because it's like, well, then just leave. If you're gonna make everybody miserable, then just leave. But then like the reasoning behind why she wanted to leave, I completely understand. Like as a mother, I totally, like I do get it. But I do think she's in like a better place and she's in like a better mood almost this season. So that's good. Like she's on the show a little bit more and she seems more like interested in being there and like not as whiny, for lack of better words. That's also probably because it's the last season, you know, like I'll suck it up. I want to like, you know, give this show a good farewell. So it is nice to see that they're not fighting anymore. I know like for drama's sake and for entertainment's sake, it's, you know, as sad as it is to say, it's interesting, more interesting to watch like the fights. But in the grand scheme of things, if you actually like think about them as people, it's good for them to be not fighting anymore. I do like the drama from time to time. But I personally like when they're just all getting along and then it's just funny. So then Kim tells Kendall and Chloe that she walked in on Scott and Courtney that night that we had just talked about. So they ended up watching a movie and then they must have fell asleep on the couch. So she walks in on them and she's telling them about how they, you know, they weren't sleeping together, but they had been like comfy on the couch next to each other. And like Courtney's sleeping on a pillow like this way and Scott's like sleeping on the chase like this way. So it's not like they're like laying cuddled up together, but they definitely are, they're cozy. It's kind of how the conversation starts about Scott and Courtney getting back together. So they kind of start talking about, you know, like we should just like nudge them. We should just like kind of give them a little push, a little nudge, kind of set them up, see if they'll get back together. Like they kind of want them to. When you think about it, like they basically have everything that a couple has except for like the intimacy and like the romance. You know, they spend a lot of time together with the kids, like parents. They go on vacation together. He's even a part of her family. So it would make sense if they just try it out again. What do you guys think? Because I want to know your opinions. So they are talking again about the obstacle course. So they decide to do it and they're planning it. And I guess that's like this legit company called Spartan Course or something like that. I'd never heard of it. So I guess they are like a legit company and that they're actually going to have like a legit course set up in their backyard. So yeah, they're talking about the obstacle course and like who's going to win. And of course, Chris is cheering on the Jenners. I mean, I guess in a sense it makes sense because they are younger, as I said. They do kind of seem and look more athletic. But then, like I said, the Kardashians work out all the time. She's encouraging Kylie to do a flip because I guess like she used to do that a lot as a kid on the trampoline. I mean, they're on like that's where they are. So she goes to do a flip and she does it. So then Kim does this interview, like in an interview, she's like, yeah, Kylie can do flips. That's her thing. But can she run? Can she lift weights? And then she goes, can she show up? And I literally died because it is so true. Kylie never, ever, 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 ever shows up for anything. Considering her life, she is pretty private. Oh, what am I doing? I'm losing it is what I'm doing. Get it together, Caitlin. So obstacle day comes, right? And Kim, I guess, had a cyst on, sorry, this pump is broken, so that's why I'm doing this. Kim had a cyst on her knee, like in the back of her knee. I had no idea that was like a thing. I guess like it was really painful, and the doctor basically says like you're just gonna have to kind of suck it up. That's basically like the only, like you just kind of have to let it heal. So she's like in a lot of pain, right? And then they have a chiropractor on site at the Malibu house when they're doing the obstacle course. So like they have a chiropractor there massaging your knee, and then Courtney pipes up and she's like, yeah, I'm in pain as well. I'm not having the best day. And she starts like listing what is wrong with her. And she goes, I haven't slept good in like 3 days. My one eye looks really tired. That's wearing glasses. That's why I'm wearing glasses. And Chloe's like the one eye? Like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, and I have my period in, and I feel like that's gonna slow me down too. So she's going on, and Chloe is like, here we go. We're gonna lose. So then they get a phone call, and Kylie doesn't show up. She's like, yeah, I have a really, really bad sinus infection. I can't even put my head down. Kim's like sitting there with her knee being massaged by a chiropractor because she wants to do it so bad, and Kylie doesn't even try to come. It's just hilarious because, and it's not even really that funny, but it's funny because Kim had made the comment like, can she run? Can she lift weights? Can she show up? They're like kind of getting ready, like prepping, what's the word? Warming up is the word. You can tell I don't work out. Like they're all doing jumping jacks. And she's like, yeah, this right here really, really hurts. And the obstacle course does look legit, don't get me wrong. Like it is an actual like obstacle course. So they have to run up the stairs, and it's like, or I think it's half the stairs, but it's quite a bit of stairs. Then they have to crawl under this net thing. And it's like a decent length. Then they have to, once they get out, they have to jump into the pool, swim under this like, I don't know, like it's on a net, I don't know. Like they basically just have to swim under the water. I'm having a really hard time describing things today. They have to go over and like throw a spear, but they have to like get it in it's almost like a fabric sheet, and they have to get it in. So they have to keep throwing it until they get it in. Then they have to go over these hurdles, and then they have like an inverted wall. So it's like a wooden wall, and it's like backwards, and that actually looked really tough. I think they had to like climb up another wall, and then they had to pull up this weight and then run to the finish line. It looked legit. So I do understand if you have a knee problem, like you're gonna permanently damage your knee so that you can win like a race, you know. Kim isn't able to do it either. So it's just Kendall and Courtney and Chloe. And I just find it funny that Kylie didn't even show up, but like you would think she would at least just show up and like cheer everybody on, but no, she just FaceTimes them like, yeah, I can't come, I have a sinus infection. Okay. Chloe goes first, and she does a really good job. I think she got like 2 minutes and like 70 something seconds. She skipped the inverted wall because she thought it would like slow down her time, but her reasoning was that I have nails that I'm not willing to break. You don't have to do everything, like all the obstacles, but every time you skip one, you get 15 minutes added to your time. So she skips one, gets 15 minutes added. It looks like really, really fun. Like I would actually love to try that. I would be totally down. I love anything like competitive. I think I would be really interested in trying that. But they work out all the time, and they found that extremely difficult, so I don't even know if I could do it. Then Kendall goes, and I mean, she's like, what, probably almost 6 feet tall. She is athletic build, you know, she's tall, she's thin. She is younger, so she probably has a little bit more endurance. But I guess at the same time, as I said, like they do work out a lot, the Kardashians. So that would hopefully, you would think, be helpful. So Kendall goes and she beats Chloe's time. She wasn't that much shorter, but because Chloe skipped that like inverted wall, I think that's why she lost. And then Courtney goes. I don't want to come across as like because she was short. I don't know, for some reason I felt like she was kind of like the least athletic, because you do see Kim and Chloe working out more. I don't know if it's maybe because they're on the show more, probably. So anyways, I definitely thought Kourtney would not be the first person to like the Jenners would have to worry about, you know? She almost beats Kendall. I was like, what? Of all people? They didn't have that inverted wall. It's because she couldn't like even reach. Like she's what? I think she said she's 5'1" and Kendall's probably 6 feet. So Kendall just like crawled up it like a spider. Kourtney was having a lot of trouble. So, I mean, at least she did it. But I think if they didn't have that obstacle, I definitely think Kourtney would have won because she lost by 4 seconds. And she did spend quite a bit of time on the inverted wall trying to get up. If they had something else that didn't like give anybody of height a benefit, then I definitely think that Kourtney would have won, which surprised me. Go Kourtney. Back to, because that was actually skipping ahead. So back to, they are talking about, once again, to set up Scourtney. There you go, Scourtney. No, Scott and Kourtney. They're planning to set them up. They decide that they're going to throw them a dinner. And they're going to just all flake and just not show up. So they're going to be like, hey, let's all have dinner together. And then Scott and Kourtney will show up and then nobody will be there. And then they'll be forced to have dinner together. If anybody's gonna get annoyed at that, it's gonna be Kourtney, but also like, that's hilarious. So anyways, they're talking about it and Rob is back. I find it funny that he just like sometimes shows up in an episode here and there. And it's just like nothing happened. He never left the show. Like nobody, you know, talks about it. I mean, I guess that's probably, he doesn't want it to be a big thing or else he probably wouldn't come back. But I just was like, what? That's Rob. And it does look like he lost some weight, so that's awesome. I always liked Rob on the show. Like, he was really funny, and I loved his relationship with his sisters. I found that very interesting to see. Him and Chloe's relationship's interesting. They always, like, joked about, like, getting married and, like, sometimes about, like, having sex. And I'm like, you could tell they were both, like, obviously joking. But I'm like, that's not really funny. Like, that's weird. But anyways, I guess families are weird. I don't know. And like, I really enjoyed the dynamic when they all were there. He's obviously doing well enough that he's able to come on the show, and that's good to see. I wonder if he came on too because it is the last season, and also I wonder, will he be on a lot this season? Like, I honestly forgot. This is gonna sound so mean. I kind of forgot about him because it has been quite a few seasons since they even, like, it used to be a like main topic of conversation between the family, but now they never talk about it. I mean, how many times can you say like, we need to get Rob help? Like, if he doesn't want to get help, then he's not going to get help. But now he seems, like I said, he seems like he's in a good enough place to come on the show, and like I do wonder if he's gonna stay on it for a bit. Like, will we learn anything about him? So that's like basically the majority of what's happened in the episode, except for obviously the part that we all wanted to see, which is the dinner that they set up for Kourtney and Scott. Let me just finish my brow before I mess it up because I'm talking. So they have the dinner. So Kourtney and Scott show up at the Malibu house. They obviously think that they're going to have dinner, you know? Like with the whole family. Sorry, I did not drink my coffee. It's starting to get cold. So they obviously go into this dinner thinking that they're just having dinner with the whole family. So they walk into the Malibu house. And like, I thought that they were going to like kind of play it off cool and like just have them walk in and there be nobody, or like just last minute cancel on them and then they'd end up just having dinner on their own. No, like they like legit set up a date for them. And I'm like, okay, I thought this was supposed to be like secret and then they were gonna like decide to like try to have a date together, but like no, like they were like, we're gonna set this up and you guys are going with it. There's like a note at the front table or whatever. You know, like rich people houses, you walk in and there's like it's a huge opening and there's like a table in the center. I've always wanted that. Maybe one day I'll have my center table, my walkway of my house, but you know what I'm talking about. So they walk in and there's a note and it says, find the most romantic place in the house. So they're like, okay. And then Kourtney makes the comment, she's like, I thought we were having dinner with my family, and typically those dinners don't start with like cryptic messages and like a scavenger hunt. So they're like, walk out in the back and there's like rose petals leading down to this like table, and they set it up as like a Swiss themed dinner because Kourtney's constantly talking about like how she's gonna find her husband in Switzerland. So they're like, well, we'll make it Swiss themed. And Scott's like, I feel like I'm on The Bachelor. There's like yodeling in the background. Like they went all out on the Swiss theme. So they do kind of sit down and just have dinner together. At first, Kourtney actually thinks that it was Scott that did it. She's like, well, did you do this? And he's like, no. She's like, she didn't believe him. He's like, don't you think I would take credit for this if I did this? Which I just like seeing them having dinner together makes me want them to be together even more. And then they did like a flashback of like when they were together, and they do show like the past, like all like the good memories they had. And it actually, I kind of forgot they were actually so cute. Like they were a cute couple. I feel like when I think about them, like I want them back together, but I also don't remember what it's like for them to actually be together and like happy, and to actually see that on the show, like on the episode, it reminded me, and it was like so cute. Are you guys Scott and Kourtney fans? That's my question to you guys. So Scott in his interview says they're obviously trying to like meddle and set us up and whatever, but he does say it is kind of nice to have a dinner and have time without the kids. And Kourtney actually says that too, like they both kind of agree. It is nice to have time without the kids, time to chat. And Scott says it's nice to have time to decide like do we even like being together? So clearly he's open to the idea. I think he always will be. I do think he will forever be in love with her, and I do think that that's a big reason why he wasn't as concerned about losing Sophia, because I do think he kind of hopes, I mean, I guess this is just me guessing, but I wonder, I guess I should word it like that, I wonder if it's, you know, he always wonders if he'll just be back with Kourtney one day. Which, I mean, would that not be the best ending to the Kardashian season? Especially like Kourtney and Scott. I feel like they've come such a far way. Scott's changed so much, Kourtney's changed so much. I really think they've both found themselves. I think when they were together, she was much more selfish. Like she didn't treat him the best, if we're being completely honest. But neither did he, obviously. Like he was not a good partner either, and I think he needed to figure out how to be okay, you know, with the whole dad life. And I think obviously he needed to do that on his own, like without, I don't think anybody could tell him to do it. I think he had to choose to do it himself. So what Kourtney and Scott do is they set up a scene, because Kim and Khloe go to like check on them the next day, see if it worked, like did they get back together. They set up a scene to make it look like they had sex. So they have like rose petals in the bathtub and like all over the floor. They have like, she puts one of her bras on the end of the bed. They're laying in bed together, but they're like fully clothed. I'm gonna just pop on my lashes and I will be right back. So I personally think that it really was just like a joke. I feel like because it's the final season and they want to touch base on whether, you know, they are going to get back together, whether they do or not, as I said last week, I do think it's smart to do that, because people, like, that's a big question that people ask, especially the fact that they're both single now. You know, are they going to get back together? I personally didn't even think about it until they brought it up, because I thought they were like done. But now that I'm thinking about it, like they're both single, I personally think that they would be really cute together. I do personally think that, I mean, as long as they want to, I think it would be a different story this time, because they both are in a better place. Then on the episode, it brought up the next on, like the preview for next week. Here's the sitch. So they show Addison Rae is going to be on it, which if you don't know who she is, she's like a huge TikTok like influencer, I guess. I knew she knew the family, but they're almost hinting that like something's going on with her and Kourtney, which I find odd. Did not expect that. I personally don't think that they are going to have relations. That's kind of the hint that I got, what they were trying to like preview, but in the previews a lot of the time they like put out something so scandalous and then like it's not that way, and I personally don't think it's going to be. Khloe's asking Mason like, where does she sleep? And like he's like, oh, in mommy's room. And then they're like, show them like near a pool and like Addison Rae's doing, she's obviously doing a dance. I mean, that's what she's famous for doing on TikTok, and like they are kind of sexual dances. It was kind of like that, but they're giving it the idea that it's like some sort of sexual relationship between the two of them. Kim said Kourtney's not usually like this with all of her friends. So I'm curious to see like what that relationship's going to be. I personally think that Kourtney's just going to be close friends with her. Like I said, I don't personally think they're going to be like in a relationship, but they definitely hinted that, which I find interesting. I'm just still rooting for Scott and her. I really am. I just want them to be together. But I actually do watch Addison Rae on TikTok sometimes, and so I'm going to be curious to see what she's like on the show. Like, is she going to be actually on it? Because I obviously have only seen her TikTok, so I don't know anything about her personally. So it'll be cool to see how she acts on the show. Sounds like Jonathan is calling Kim all like, you won't believe what happened. He's out of breath. I'm curious if this has anything to do with Kanye had his mental breakdown like on stage. Was it like the president? He was something to do with his like presidential, like he was running for president. He said, I almost killed my daughter. Like basically saying him and Kim were thinking about getting an abortion with North, which like, number one, none of our business. I think that's a topic I don't really want to talk about. I remember that, like I do remember when that happened, and I was wondering if it was that, like was he there, or does it have to do with COVID, or does it have to do, this was in 2020. I'm wondering if it has to do, because after George Floyd was murdered, does it have to do with like the riots, or was that what happened? There's so many things that could happen, because right after that she says, oh, 2020 has been a crazy year. So they go and look at like bunkers. Like they're literally, her and Chloe are watching a video about a bunker, and then they like go inside one. And then it's like this like scene set up where it's like, no, come on, we gotta go in, it's an emergency. And like, it's almost like they're like setting it up like there is an emergency and they have to go in their bunker. But I do personally think that it's like, just like probably them practicing some crazy stuff that looks like it's gonna happen next week. Hopefully we get a little more drama. I'm curious to see what Jonathan was talking about. I don't even know for sure if it was him, but it sounded like his voice. Hopefully it is a better episode. This one was a little bit boring because it was like mainly about the obstacle course. So yeah, hopefully you still enjoyed, and leave your comments below of what you thought of the episode, any theories, predictions of what's to come in the season, what you thought about this episode. Don't forget to guess what my inspiration behind this look was, and again, all of the products were listed in this corner here, but they're also listed in the description below and linked, so if you want to recreate this look, then you can do so. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.